What we have here, folks, is the SYM Lance Cabo 125. That's SYM Lance Cabo 125. I spilled soda pop from my drink holder here into my control panel, instrument panel, and I can't change any of the odometer settings, and I can't reset the oil lamp. And I'm gonna see if I can get this unstuck because I want to see how many miles I got on this. I think I'm coming close to 60,000. I don't know, hopefully that doesn't hurt the plastic. 5-year review. This is the 2017 model. I bought it in 2018, almost exactly 5 years ago, coming up pretty close. So what do I have to say? Just nothing bad. This has just been a wonderful vehicle. Down in the description, I'll link up my VidVulture channel if you want to see the wear and tear I put this thing through. And for the last almost a year now, I've been delivering food. So I was hauling scrap metal with me and my, this is not the scrap metal setup I had, but I had a tote on here with tools in the bottom. Me and my gear, just call it 200 pounds, and I routinely carried over 100 pounds of scrap metal, up to 150 pounds of scrap metal. Stop and go traffic, scavenging, dumpster diving, that kind of stuff. About the worst thing you could probably do to a vehicle. Stop and go, stop and go. Constantly on the load limit. I think the load limit's 350 pounds. So I was flirting with the load limit all the time. But anyways, just for the first 4 years, and the last year I've been delivering food and basically making it perform. So basically the two worst things you could do to a little small engine scooter, I've been doing to it for 5 years. And I can't say anything bad about the engine. Now you want to, if you get a scooter, any scooter, you're going to familiarize yourself with what's in here. This is the drive belt area. I took the Kickstarter out. In here there's a, I'm going to change my belt today before it snaps. I carry tools with me. I got a complete tool set in here with an impact wrench and everything, a battery jump starter. And I don't want to make this video too long. I carry oil. This thing burns a lot of oil. I carry at least one drive belt with me. That's a brand new one there. I'm gonna put that on right now. And I'm also gonna change my brake pads on the front. I'm not gonna bore you with that. Let's just keep this to a review video. But I just want to point out some pointers. I got a whole full socket ratchet socket wrench set down there. This is where the drive belt goes. There's a variator here. If you were going to use a scooter as a work vehicle. Now, first of all, two-wheelers on public streets are extremely dangerous. So I would say don't do this. Don't buy a two-wheel vehicle. Fender bender could cost you your life. With that being said, if you do have a scooter, a drive belt driven scooter, in here is a variator and it has little roller weights in there, and it's a little aluminum like pulley type deal. You will want to fix that. You will want to change that out every now and then. Air filter here. I changed my air filter recently. My gas mileage went from 55 miles a gallon up to about 80-90 miles a gallon with a clean air filter. I didn't know that. I'm basically becoming a combustion engine mechanic in the year 2023. Go figure. So I wanted to go electric. I've been wanting to go electric, but it's just not working out right now. And so yeah, that's it. The engine on these Lance is built by a company. There's kind of two companies, SYM and Lance. You can Google that and check that out for yourself. Long story short, they used to make Honda engines. They used to make engines for Hondas. So I do believe this is a nice high quality engine. We'll just go ahead and say it's basically a Honda engine in there. And I've had no problems with the engine whatsoever. And you can see that there's some leakage, some seep, but you know, that's like the gear oil there. And the engine's just wonderful. I can't say enough good things about it. I've ran it dry of oil twice. Bike shut down, it would not start again. I put oil in it and it started right up. I don't know if there's some kind of sensor in there that eliminates, you know, that takes idiot proofs it, right? I'm not gonna blame the bike for user error. I've ran it dry twice. I've overfilled it with oil. I think that's what clogged up my air filter, maybe. It had oil in it. I've overfilled it with oil. I've ran it dry twice, and I correct the oil level situation and it just fires right up. The engine's running like it's brand new. The bike itself is just wonderful. I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy with this bike. It's just been a great little bike. You can see I've laid it down. The fender's cracked, that's cracked. I've laid it down probably a dozen times, left and right. It's got these little extensions on the handlebars that protect. If that wasn't there, these brake levers would have just been snapped all the way off by now. I haven't had to change a brake lever. Those of you that drive motorcycles, you can see this extension's barely hanging on right now. It's probably a couple more good hits and it's probably gonna come off, but there it is. And you can see that one's bent back, but those are the original brake handles. This is the back brake, that's the front brake on a scooter. It's automatic transmission, of course, and I just can't say enough good things about it. I've basically done the worst thing you could do to a vehicle, and it just keeps on going. I could probably use a new rotor coming up to 60,000 miles. Hopefully that'll get in there and we can see how many miles. It's probably coming close to 60,000 anyways, and I probably should replace the rotor, but I'm looking to get a bigger engine vehicle with the food apps. This thing tops out at about 60 miles an hour currently. I got up to 67 on the interstate once. I couldn't believe it was going that fast, and then the drive belt shredded. So I carry extra gas bottles. Here's a couple tips. I carry extra gas bottles down here. The tank only holds 1.4 gallons of fuel when full. I've got gas bottles underneath my tank here in the storage. I carry an additional 1.6 gallons, so just almost exactly 3 gallons of fuel I can carry. I can fill it up, and then out on the road when I run out, I can fill it up again. And I have a smaller bottle in here that I keep for I always keep full just in case I don't make it to the gas station or what have you. You know, gas bottles will save you a day's work sometimes. And having the belt, this video is getting too long, an extra belt around, impact wrench. You need an impact wrench to get the variator nut off because it spins, right? Or you could have a strap wrench, but that spins, and you need something with a lot of torque. Five stars. SYM Cabo Lance. I replaced they call it the stator, like an alternator on a big vehicle. They call it a stator on these little scooters. My battery was wearing out. I replaced the battery, new one wore out right away. So I looked online and figured it out. In here, there's a stator behind the flywheel. You gotta get a special tool, a flywheel puller, pull it out, and then there's a little copper gizmo. Looks like a flux capacitor. I can't hit 88, so I can't travel through time, but a little copper guy in there. I replaced that, and that cured my battery problem. And this muffler is cracked in half right now, you can see. That's not anything to do with the bike's fault. And you can see this fenders. I have an oversized tire on the back right now. It barely fits on there, but there that is. And you can see, you know, this fender's supposed to be down here, of course. And I've had a few mysterious things happen to my bike. I think someone was tampering with it, and like this was missing. I think that's why my stator went bad, because that's not the original plug. I took this bolt plug here, see that? I took this one out and put it here. It fit perfectly. There used to be a plug there. I think someone took it out. I think someone took a bolt out. I think someone's been taking the air out of my tires for a long time, and I finally caught on to it. but that's not the bike's fault, right? I can't find fault in the bike anywhere. It's just wonderful, and that's it, man. Now this is dangerous. Having stuff on your handlebars is dangerous. If you hit your knee, and an inexperienced rider can really get into a lot of trouble using this thing the way I've been using it. But that's my main thing. Just these are dangerous, and other than that, man, this is broken. I laid it down hard once going to the right, and there's two pieces of cast iron holding this on here. See that? That's snapped, and then the other one finally snapped off too because it was too much stress on just one. So I currently have my instrument panel here zip tied to the handlebars, and it's working fine. It's working fine. It's a little off center, but it's working fine. And let's see if I can get that soda pop glue undone. Let's see. Get this video wrapped up for you. I wanted to make a short little video. Yeah, I can't. So with this button here, that's how I can reset the oil lamp. But I kind of like leaving the oil lamp on constantly, because every few hundred miles, every about 200 or 300 miles, I have to top it off with oil. It burns a ton of oil, so keep oil in it. And this model will probably go to 60,000 miles for you. And that I can't feel it. It's not, the contact's all gummed up in there. I might let it sit for a while, and it might eventually come, but see, it's not coming out. I can't reset none of that. We'll just call it 60,000 miles. The first 15,000 we're hauling scrap metal, and the last 45,000, maybe it's 55,000 total. The last 45,000 miles have been food app delivery over the last year. And I might be overestimating it. It might be just a little over 50,000 miles. I do apologize, but you get my point. You get my point. Keep oil in this guy, and you will be a happy camper. One thing about these little guys is it's real easy to work on if you never worked on stuff. With the front brake pads, I just take an Allen wrench. I take this bolt and this bolt out, and then with an Allen wrench I take this out and this out, and that's it. It's super easy. The brake pads fall out, the new ones go in. Super duper easy. A lot easier than on a motorcycle. And like I say, the drive belt's here. It's super duper easy. Just take these bolts out here. This piece comes off. Impact wrench this nut here. Comes off. Take the old belt off. Put the new belt on. Impact wrench. Boom. I've been repairing it on the side of the road while I'm out delivering. And I'm going to get in the habit of seeing how long they last, and I'm going to replace it before it snaps, because that is bad. That is bad for delivering food when you got someone's dinner and your drive belt goes out. But I could probably do it in under 10 minutes now. So, but anyways, it's not good when that happens. So I'm going to start trying to take care of that. I'm trying to throw some pointers at you. The video's getting too long. And gear oil as well. You want to change the gear oil, you should change the gear oil every time you change your motor oil. I let that go for way too long for a while, and I thought my engine was failing. I lost a lot of power and lost the RPMs, and I realized it was because my gear oil had got bad. It was getting sludgy, so I got that out of there and replaced it a couple times with fresh stuff, and it's running like new. There's been several times, like when the belt breaks, the stator goes bad, the air filter gets fouled up, my spark plug gets fouled up. There's been several times where in my head when something goes wrong, when I'm out there driving, I think, oh, my motor's finally done. But no, it's not the motor. It's never been the motor. The motor is just wonderful. I also have a Bitcoin Street channel. Let me get a plug in here. Bitcoin, folks, is probably going to take a dive down over the next 8 or 9 months. At some point, it's probably going to come lower, but it's going to end up gearing up for its halving cycle run. Bitcoin will probably be going over $100,000. So like 4 times, like if you invest $100 now, and this time, you know, maybe 16 months from now, it'll probably multiply your money times 4, well, times 3. Like if you invest $100, you'll have $400 in about a year, if everything remains the same and nothing stupid happens. But the link for my Bitcoin Street channel is down in the description. My VidVulture channel is down in the description. You will see both of those other channels down there. And well, I guess this is my VidVulture channel, isn't it? But lots of new people will be watching this because in the future, because it's about a scooter. If you want to check out my VidVulture channel, you're already on it. So I'll link to the home page of this channel. That's what I should have said. Post video info. This nut here came, of course, as soon as I do that. Let's get that guy out of the way. This nut right here, if you put a lot of miles on a vehicle, on a scooter, you will want to get a couple extra of these variator nuts. I have 2 extra now. I have this one and 2 backups. This nut got stripped out. That's like a $2 or $3 nut, maybe a little more depending where you get it. That nut got stripped out. I was on the side of the highway, had all my gear, impact wrench, new belt, everything, and that nut stripped out. I put it on, I fired it up, this whole thing came spinning off. There's roller weights in here. There's a little rollers inside here, and when this came off, they just went flying, and so I got stranded on the side of the interstate. That was not fun. So extra nuts for the variator is a good idea. I also have an extra spark plug cable, and I have extra tires. I keep myself at least 1 extra brand new tire ready to go at all times. The front tire isn't really that bad. You could basically drive on a flat front tire because there's no weight on it. So I mean, you can't go fast because it's dangerous, but extra weight back here makes the tire, particularly when it starts wearing, it makes the tire more susceptible to pick up a nail or a screw or a thorn or wherever you're at. This belt is actually looking like it's pretty good. Since I'm in here already, I'm gonna go ahead and swap it out. I'm gonna use my used belt for my emergency belt. I'm gonna put the brand new one on anyways, but that belt's holding up really good. When you got a brand new variator and the roller weights in there, when everything's working smooth here, I think that takes a lot of stress off the belt. The first belt I had on here went for almost 15,000 miles. I think it was real close to 15,000 miles. Maybe it's like 12,000 before it broke. That was stop and go. With delivering food, I think it gets hot in there, and I think it's more stressful. I've gotten the habit lately where when I come to a red light, when I'm going to sit for a while, I'll just turn my engine off, because at idle, this thing just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. So I don't know if I'm stressing out maybe something in the starter, you know, by shutting it off so many times. But I shut it off so this will not spin when I'm sitting at a red light. That's got to help the life of these things for sure. And I didn't want to make a long video, but since I'm adding some pointers and tips and tricks, it might be useful to some people out there. But that's why you need an impact wrench to see how it spins. A normal socket set, you simply can't do it. About every 2 years on a vehicle, motorcycle, scooter, you'll have to replace the battery. In my experience, the battery lasts about 2 years. Some of you might get a kick out of this. I found that a long time ago. I'm not even sure if I found that on video. That might have been pre-video days. I had it underneath my kitchen sink. Super penetrating oil. My brake pads wore heavily, so I had lots of dust. And well, look at that, that's almost totally gone. But these are frozen in there, so I'm out of that. I have an idea. This is probably super good stuff right here. That's really old. I thought you might enjoy that. I finally get to use one of these things I found. I have a stockpile of stuff I never use, but the day has come. Yee! There you go. That's the good stuff with Teflon. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks for watching.